welcome to Disrupt Health. I'm your host, Julie Palumbo, and today we have a wonderful guest, Dr. Cali Estes, who is the founder of the Addictions Coach and the Addictions Academy, and she is a highly regarded celebrity addictions coach, and I am so happy to have you here this morning with us, Cali. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for letting me come on. I appreciate it.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and about the Addictions Academy?
Sure. So I've been a clinician for about 25 years in the addictions industry, and I started the Addictions Coach company about 6 years ago to do high-profile, high-end clientele. So CEOs, executives, actors, actresses, those types of people that are stuck and can't seem to get beyond being stuck. And they may not want to go into treatment, or they've been in and out of treatment, or they don't have time to do it. So we have signature products like Sober on Demand, where we come to them and bring the treatment center setting to them. And we do in 28 days, we do in 3 to 5. So what 28 days takes a treatment center to do, we condense and privatize and do intensive. And then we have a signature Launchpad program, which is aftercare. So after treatment, we help you with staying sober and getting your life back together. And then we also have sober companions and sober coaches all around the globe. Wow. And after doing that, I got asked, can I do what you do? And I said, sure. So I created the Addictions Academy, and we have grown to 23 countries, 5 languages, and 7,000 people trained in a span of 7 years. So we are the largest online addiction school in the globe at this point. So that's what I do.
Wow, that's amazing. So you mentioned that you work with a lot of people in the industry, like celebrities. Do you think that I guess artists are a little bit more prone to addiction and symptoms like this?
They are, and they are because we have what we call a yes crowd. So people want to be around somebody famous. They want to be in their entourage. They want to be on TV. They ride their coattails. And when an artist says, I need a Xanax, or I want heroin, or I want this, the little group of people that honors them and follows them like groupies gets them whatever they want. The problem with that is we've seen people like Prince overdose and die because somebody was bringing him all different types of drugs. So they are more prone, but they also have a group of people that supports them to continue their usage.
And, you know, it seems like that industry just kind of glamorizes the whole drugs and alcohol scene. What are your hopes for this year or within the next few years for that industry and how things are trending?
Well, it's become fashionable now to disclose that you're in recovery for drugs, alcohol, or mental health. So it's sort of gone from people using behind the scenes to everybody is a drug and alcohol person in recovery, and everybody is using it as a platform to gain followers and et cetera, et cetera. So it's a good thing that we're ending this stigma, but it's also a bad thing because now every artist is saying, well, I'm in recovery, or I'm this, or I'm that. And it's setting a trend for our younger population to say this is fashionable. It's fashionable to be a drug addict. It's fashionable to be bipolar. These are things I want to be because they are as well. So that's a trend I think we're going to follow. And as a clinician, from a mental health standpoint, that's not a good trend for us because we're going to see more and more and more people actually using drugs when they shouldn't be.
You know, you mentioned something about followers. Have you seen a change over the past 6 years in the effects of social media on addiction?
Yeah, we actually came out with the first class called Nationally Certified Internet Addiction Coach because so many people are addicted to social media, addicted to the internet, addicted to likes. If you go on Facebook and you see people have 200, 300, 400, 500 likes and one negative comment, and all of a sudden they say, I need more likes, or I have one person who doesn't like me, and their entire self-esteem is tied to the Facebook post, whether it's a photo of them or a photo of what they ate or what they're doing, and they keep trying to up the ante. And if you look at Kardashians, it's the best example to look at. Kim Kardashian posted, oops, my daughter took a photo from 6 years ago and accidentally posted it to my social media from my phone. Well, we all know that didn't happen. We all know she needed attention. So then you see the likes and such come up. And so what happens is there's a dopamine serotonin rush to your brain based upon who likes you on Facebook. And it becomes just as addicting as drugs and alcohol. So we're seeing a trend in that as well.
Do you treat that kind of addiction?
It's actually one of my specialties. because I deal with a lot of narcissistic, self-absorbed people.
Okay.
And narcissism is a lot of superficial likes and superficial photos. And the person who takes 250 selfies to post one, that's a lot of my clients' helpings.
Wow. That's, I feel like this is something, and I'm sure you could speak to it more, that just wasn't an issue, 10, 15 years ago that is now so prevalent, and not only in celebrities' lives, but just everyday people.
It is. And if you look at even the young sector, they don't want to talk on the phone. They'd rather text, or they send an emoji. I mean, you can order Domino's pizza by sending a piece of pizza to Domino's Pizza. You don't even have to say, I need or I want pizza. You just send the emoji and pizza comes to the door. Yep. That's how crazy, our instant gratification and our need for technology is. We don't even need human communication anymore. You can go on Instacart and order all your groceries, and boom, they come to the door. You can go on Postmates and get stuff from Target or stuff from the wine store, and it just comes to the door. There's even a service now for marijuana. So if you're in a great state, you can have marijuana delivered to the door. So we are such a technology forward group now that we're at a point where it's becoming overused and misused and addictive.
Mm-hmm. So talking about, wanting everything right now and having everything within our fingertips, can you elaborate a little bit more about your Sober on Demand program and how that's made an impact?
Sure. Sober on Demand has actually been very successful because we bring the concept of treatment to the client without treatment. So it's an alternative. And it's intensive. It's one-on-one. There's no groups. So it's me and the client, or me and the couple, because sometimes we do couples, talking about all their issues and what the problems are and getting unstuck. So my big tagline is, from stuck to success, because they're stuck. There's something that's causing them to gravitate towards drugs and alcohol to solve a problem. And our society treats drugs and alcohol as the problem, but that's not accurate. That's their coping mechanism. That's their solution to the problem. So we get to the root cause, we get to the underlying problem, we solve the problem, and then all of a sudden they start to be successful. And then we add in all the life coaching elements, vision board and bucket list and all these other things, and bam, they go from feeling overwhelmed and helpless. Within 3 or 4 days, they're out there having a great time doing some amazing things, and they're sober, and they're like, wow, this is so easy. So it's just intensive, and it's specific to the person as opposed to a cookie cutter treatment center. I mean, the reality is treatment is treatment. It's kind of all the same. You go, you sit in groups, you talk about psychoeducation, you talk about addiction, process group, blah, blah, blah. You go home and you go, okay, now what? There's no answer to now what. So we are the now what.
I love that. I feel like, it's kind of a similar parallel when I work with clients about food. It's very similar in that they use that as their coping mechanism, because since we were born, we were trained, if you do well, you reward yourself with food. If you are sad, you comfort yourself with food. If you're stressed, you relax with a glass of wine and cheese. So it's always, I feel like, when we look at vices like this, it's always, we tend to blame it, but it's really as a way of self-medication almost to deal with what's underlying and another cause that's not just because we like it. It's just the only way we know how to deal with it, with our emotions.
Right. And it's easy to grab a piece of food or grab a glass of wine or grab a Xanax because the stimulus that's there is overwhelming. And instead of trying to figure out the root cause of why the stimulus is overwhelming, it's easy just to say, well, I'll just take this and change my attitude. And I tell people you have to substitute better things for what you're reaching for. So whether it's cake or Xanax or wine, try substituting yoga, try substituting the gym. And then they say, well, that's not going to work. And I say, well, every time you have a craving because you need a coping mechanism, do 25 squats. And they say, you're crazy. I say, do it. And when they do it and the serotonin and dopamine pops in their brain, they're like, oh my God, I feel fantastic. I don't need the wine. I don't need the cake. I don't need the Xanny bar. I feel good. I say, okay, great. We're going to harness that and keep going with it. And then they learn how to use the serotonin and dopamine to their advantage.
Exactly. So you're still getting the same outcome, or they're getting the same outcome, just using a different mechanism to get there.
Correct. A healthier one.
Exactly. Oh, that's amazing. And how can our listeners learn more about this Sober on Demand program?
They can go to theaddictionscoach.com or give us a call, which is 1-800-706-0318, extension 1. And we can tell you all about the Sober on Demand and the Launchpad programs.
This is so important to everyone, not just celebrities, but as I said, everyday people who are trying to deal with their emotions by throwing it into something else and becoming addicted to something else. So I'm so glad that we're opening the conversation, and that's what Disrupt Health is all about, generating a conversation about maybe things that are misunderstood or no one wants to really discuss. So as we begin to wrap up, can you share one thing that you really want our listeners to take away from this?
There is help out there. So if you're feeling overwhelmed or stuck, give us a call. We can assess and determine if you need help, if it really is an issue or it's just a passing phase you're going through, and then point you in the right direction if we can't assist you.
That's wonderful. And, more importantly, you're not alone. And as you said, it's funny, it's great that it's kind of getting more attention, which I guess there's a flip side to that it's not great that there's a lot of attention on it because maybe people think it's cool. But the good thing is that for people who are struggling, there's definitely answers out there and support.
There is. We're here for you.
I love it. Well, Dr. Cali, thank you so much for being here with us. And everyone else, thank you so much for tuning in. This is another episode of Disrupt Health with Julie Palumbo, and I look forward to seeing you next week.